Back to Miller. Oh, my goodness.
Herbert.
Sidearm sling, and it's a touchdown.
Tyrese Maxey.
Oh, good spin move by Filipowski for the news. Give him 9.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Beef Up Front podcast here on Pick Swap Media. Exciting episode today as we are back with the NFL with our NFL Big 5 games of the week. This is your host, Ryan Coyle, joined alongside Kevin Cannon. As always, we'll have you covered each and every week going forward for the top 5 games each and every week. The holiday weekends, we'll throw in those games, and then we'll cover the playoffs as well. So we got you covered from now, week 1 until through the Super Bowl. Hoping for another exciting NFL season, but welcome back, Kevin. How are we?
Great. It's crazy that this is the 4th year of this already, and just looking through the schedule this week got me excited. A lot of good games to go through.
Yeah, the schedule makers, I think, gave us a few nice appetizers in this one, and some really good tests, I think, for some teams to kind of prove some noise this offseason. We'll be breaking down 49ers, Steelers, Dolphins, Chargers, Giants, Cowboys, amongst others. So some good tests for some teams week 1 that are maybe trying to make that next step, or some of these teams that are trying to get back to where they were last year. So we will start it off, though, on Thursday night with the kickoff game. One of the surprises, I think, when the schedule first came out is that the NFL decided to put the Detroit Lions in the Thursday night kickoff spot. I think that just goes to say how impressive they were down the stretch and the kind of leap that the NFL and everyone around it is expecting the Lions to make this year. Give them that respect to go to the Chiefs for an 8:20 kickoff on NBC. Chiefs are a 5.5-point favorite. That might be down to like 4.5 now, but when we put the line out, it was 5.5, and that was even after the Travis Kelce injury. Over under 53.5. Kev, what's your thoughts on the first game of the season?
I got the the Chiefs 27, Lions 24. So the Lions covering 5.5 and the under of 53.5 hidden. I think a lot of people will be taking the Lions here as a trendy underdog pick. I just don't see it. I think they're a good team, but I'm not still completely sold on them. I think they'll have a decent year, but they're just still not anywhere near the Chiefs level, even without Kelce and Chris Jones on the defensive side of the ball. The game's also in Kansas City, where Mahomes is just almost unstoppable, 31-7 all the time. He's also 5-0 in his career on week 1, and he's yet to throw a pick in a week 1 game yet so far. And that was just also to go along with 18 tutties. So I think the Lions showed a lot down the stretch last year, like you were talking about. And they went out and upgraded arguably their biggest weakness, which was their secondary, and held them back last year. They did upgrade that, but I think they're just going to be able to keep it close and not really be in the same conversation as the Chiefs.
Yeah, Mahomes week 1 throughout his career as a starting quarterback, 1,542 passing yards, 18 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 136.9 passer rating. So no matter how much he played or didn't play in the preseason, he's not going to be rusty, it seems like, according to history. I agree with you. I'll take the Chiefs to win, but I'll go the Lions to cover. I have a 34-30 Chiefs, so I have the over of 53.5 in there. First game of the year, just kind of touching back on that again. It's cool that the Lions are in this game and given that spotlight. And I think if they do win this game, the league is officially on notice that they're kind of here to play. I still think they're going to be around like a 9-8, 10-7 type team, not like a 12-5 team that some people are talking about. But I do think that they're going to keep it close in this one and still garner a lot of respect around the league. The last time we saw this Lions team, they were beating the Packers at Lambeau and ending the Aaron Rodgers era there, and potentially turning the tide in the division to their favor for the first time since 1993. And then, obviously, last time we saw the Chiefs was in the Super Bowl. So two teams that were playing their best ball at the end of the year. The Chiefs, though, most likely will be without Chris Jones in this one. I think that is a huge loss. He's definitely their best defensive player. But when you look at the Lions, they have one of the better offensive lines in the league, and they're really high on the running game that they have coming into this one. David Montgomery, free agent signing from the Bears, and then Jahmyr Gibbs, their kind of do-it-all weapon out of the backfield that they drafted from Alabama in the draft. It's going to be a nice 1-2 punch. And if they're able to control the clock and keep Mahomes and company off the field, they have a really good shot in this one. I still need to see the Lions become a legit playoff team before I anoint them into the category of some of these teams that could beat the reigning Super Bowl champs. Just hard to pick against Mahomes, especially with that stat line and Andy Reid losing at home on the night of unveiling the banner with extra preparation time and all that kind of stuff that we've seen from Andy Reid before. It's hard to find a way for the Lions to win this game, even if Travis Kelce doesn't play. That is one thing we didn't really talk about with that hyperextended knee. I don't think he's going to play just because it's not worth it on a short week, especially to kind of rush him out there. Give him that extra time to get ready for week 2. But if the Lions do find a way to win this one, I think it's just going to be running the football at will. But I'll take the Chiefs to win. But the Lions and the Dan Campbell cover machine to cover in this one. The Lions last year were 12-4-1 against the spread. So I really like them to cover in this one. Even if that line gets down to like 3.5 by kickoff, I could see them still covering that number. All right, that's Thursday. We go to Sunday now. This might be the coolest matchup, I think, and it's a cross rivalry matchup or cross conference matchup between the 49ers at the Steelers, two of the more storied programs in NFL history going at it in this one. 1 o'clock kickoff on Fox. 49ers are a 2.5 point favorite. Over under is 41. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Kev?
I'm going Steelers 24, Niners 21. Steelers covering the plus 2.5 they're given, and the over of 41 hidden. This kickoff's at 1 p.m. on the East Coast, and I think the Steelers are going to just come out hot. Kenny Pickett has shown a lot of progress in the NFL from the time he was drafted to late through last season, and he's even been one of the more productive players and one of the people who's playing most in the preseason, and he really took advantage of that. So I think he takes a sizable leap this year. He also has the weapons around him that help him make that leap. A lot of times when we talk about these quarterbacks in their second year and making a leap and seeing the ones that actually do, it's usually with the help of all the skill positions and the offensive line. They do have a big task in front of them, though, with the 49ers, who do have a stacked roster, and when I did write this, I was anticipating Joey Bosa not to be out there, but he just became the highest paid defense player in league history, so he will be out there. But I'm still going to go with the Steelers. I think it's a concern in the beginning of the season with Brock Purdy not really having played much this offseason with his arm injury. And then even last year, he still didn't even play a whole rookie season. I think he ended up playing like 9 games. I think we see him and the offense come out not firing like all on cylinders here. So I'm going with the Steelers in the upset.
I've got Steelers by the exact same score there. I'm going to take them 24-21, so we'll go plus 2.5 and over 41. Taking my first outright upset of the year here. Steelers at home, knocking off the West Coast 49ers, traveling east for a 1 o'clock kickoff. I know they're having that extra time because they didn't have a game the week before, whatever travel circumstances, but that's still not an easy thing to do. It's going to be a 1 o'clock or a 10 a.m. No, excuse me. Yeah, 10 a.m. body clock game for the 49ers in this one. I have both of these teams going 10-7 this year. 49ers winning the NFC West and the Steelers finishing in 7th in the AFC, earning a wild card spot. Steelers kind of got that vibe to me to be a breakout team this year, and it wouldn't shock me to see them at the end of the day win the AFC North if Kenny Pickett can take that leap. He still has to play better football than Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Those are high guys to pass. But it could be done if he does go out there and these younger weapons around him perform and the defense is as good as they've been in the past few years. I think these two teams, though, are very similar. Young second-year quarterbacks who aren't overly talented guys when it comes to throwing the football, but they show they can play good football in good systems with good people around them, good coaches, both loaded on defense, and they both have offenses that have playmakers all around. So I don't think that there's that big of a gap between these two teams. So I'll go with the home squad in this one. Kyle Shanahan, too. Quick note on the 49ers under Shanahan. He is only 2-4 in season openers as the 49ers head coach. They've really stumbled out of the gates during his tenure here. Remember, last year they were only 3-4 at one point, and then they acquired McCaffrey and kind of went on that run. But you combine his slow starts with the traveling across the country for a week 1 game, I think we got an upset brewing here. So I'll go Steelers outright, plus 2.5 and over a 41. All right, third game of the week. We go to the AFC now for a Dolphins traveling to the West Coast in this one to play the Chargers, 425 on CBS. Chargers minus 2.5 and over under of 51 in this game.
Got the Dolphins winning by 4, 34, Chargers 30. The Dolphins covering the 2.5 and the over of 51 hidden. I've never been high on the Chargers. If you've ever listened to this pod before, every year everyone talks about them, how this is going to be the year, and they just never do it. They never take that next step. And while on the other hand, the Dolphins do have an extremely talented team, they do need to take that step this year, and I do think they're going to be able to do it as usual, barring Tua staying healthy. I think Vic Fangio on the defense have become the defense coordinator and the leader of that Dolphins defense is really going to help them improve because they do have a lot of talent back there. Obviously, you'd like to have Jalen Ramsey be able to go for this one, but he's not going to be out there for a couple of weeks, it looks like. And without him, it's going to be Kader Kanu looking to make the most of his opportunity. And who better to do it against than a team that has Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and new first-round draft pick Quentin Johnson. I still just don't trust the Chargers, and I think two of them way too much to handle in this game late.
I got to go with my Chargers in this one, especially being at home. I know they don't have much of a home field advantage, but good teams. I think the Chargers will be a good team. We'll find ways to win at home. I'll go Chargers 35, Dolphins 31. So Chargers minus 2.5 and over a 51. Outside of the Eagles game, which we won't be breaking down, this is a game I think I'm looking forward to the most on Sunday, as I'm expecting both of these teams to have two of the strongest offenses in the league and really be able to kind of just go back and forth in this one and put on an offensive display. Justin Herbert with his weapons all healthy from last year in Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Gerald Everett, Austin Eckler, all those guys are back. They're healthy. And now, like you said, Kevin, throwing in Quentin Johnson. And they also have Josh Palmer, who really showed out at times as well last year. All those guys are in the fold, fully healthy this week, and against a Dolphin secondary that is without Jalen Ramsey, I think they're going to be able to throw it on them. And I'm really excited to see this passing attack, not just because I'm a big Justin Herbert fan, but the addition of Kellen Moore, I think he's really going to open up the passing game and allow a lot more downfield throws for this offense. So they're going to be a fun group to watch and track all year. Tua seems to be healthy now, and he has that track team type duo of Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill at his disposal still. So I think these guys are just going to go back and forth with all the weapons they have. Might come down to who has the ball last, and I'm expecting this one to be a high-scoring affair, but I'm just not going to go against Justin Herbert at home against Tua. I think Justin Herbert's a much better player than. I'll take the Chargers in the most exciting game of the day, 35-31. So Chargers minus 2.5 in the over of 51. All right, we go to Sunday Night Football now. Cowboys at the Giants, NFC East showdown, 8:20 on NBC, Sunday Night Football. Cowboys minus 3.5 here on the road, and the over-under is 46.5.
Going Cowboys winning 34, Giants 27, Cowboys covering minus 3.5, and the over 46.5 hidden. I think the Giants just made a massive mistake signing Daniel Jones to the contract they did. I think he was kind of hitting his ceiling last year, and he's not going to get a whole lot better. That being said, the offense around him has gotten a little bit better with the addition of Darren Waller. But the Cowboys' defense is legit, though, and I think Daniel Jones is just going to be having trouble all night moving the ball. Dak and the Cowboys' offense has always been able to put up yards and even points. It's always just been the turnovers and just really stupid decisions and mistakes at costly times. But I think good thing for the Cowboys here, they're not going to be in the situation to put themselves in critical situations like that to be making mistakes. They're going to kind of cruise through this game. I am excited to see how the Cowboys team does come together with no Zeke, but then the additions of Brandon Cooks and Gilmore on the defensive side of the ball.
Little divisional trend stat here for those gamblers out there in week one. Since 2015, divisional dogs are 31, 12, and 1 against the spread. So I really like that stat there for the Giants. There's a few other divisional games that come off the top of my head. The Colts play the Jaguars. The Seahawks play the Rams. There's a few more divisional matchups out there. So this is a nice little stat, I think, for an upset in week one, especially with the Giants being at home. I'll take the Giants here, 26-23. So Giants plus 3.5 and over of 46.5. I think this should be, just going forward, as long as both teams are projected to be good, the Sunday night game in week one every year. It's just two great brands, two big markets. And both teams from last year had playoff expectations. Both teams won a playoff game last year. I think both of these teams have a chance to get back to the playoffs this year. I think the Giants last year won a lot of games that they didn't deserve to, and their lack of talent was eventually exposed in the playoffs. I don't think they'll have as similar success, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them be like a 9-8, 10-7 team flirting with that wild card spot again. I do think they'll find a way to lose a couple more games than they did last year, though. I think the NFC East is going to be tough this year and see these teams kind of split in their home and away divisional games. I am interested to see, though, if Daniel Jones can build off last year, as you were kind of touching on. This is going to be a good test. I really am really high on this Cowboys defense. I think it could be one of the top 5 units in the league. But a home dog against a division team, I'm going to take my chances here with the Giants. Just going back to that trend that I said earlier. So Giants 26, Cowboys 23. We get the Giants with the outright dub, plus 3.5 and over 46.5. And last game, maybe the game of the week, probably the one I would assume gets the most views, maybe outside of the Thursday night kickoff game, but I think this one might peak at its highest with the most views, and that is the Monday Night Football game between the Bills at the Jets, 8:15 on ESPN or ABC. Bills are minus 2.5 now, over under 46.5, anniversary of 9/11, so it should be cool scenes at this game with a bunch of pregame stuff up there in North Jersey. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Kev?
I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going Jets 23, Bills 21, Jets covering 2.5, and the under at 46.5 hidden. Out of all the games we're going to talk about and already did talk about, this is the one I struggle with the most. So I just went with my first gut reaction, and that was the Jets. I do think the Bills have lost some of their luster that they've had in previous years because of their poor playoff showing again. And the biggest fear with the Jets is that their offensive line is not going to be able to protect Aaron Rodgers. It should be a big concern, and I am nervous for it. But I just keep thinking about the Jets defense, and even if they are just able to get semi-competent offensive play from Aaron Rodgers and all like the weapons he has on that side of the ball, the defense can literally keep them in every game like they pretty much did all of last year when their offense was just horrible. I think Rodgers is going to do enough in his debut here, and the Bills' offense is going to sputter at times against the defense like they did last year, pretty much all year, where there was kind of home run or bust. So I'm going Jets upset here.
I'm going to take the Bills on the road here. I think that says a lot that they're a 2.5 point favorite. I'm a little bit worried about some continuity issues on this Jets team and kind of ushering in this new era with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. I think we could see them maybe sputter out of the gate a little bit. But if they find their stride in the middle of the season, they could get hot and be that team that no one really wants to see come down the stretch come playoff time. But I do think it's going to take a bit of an adjustment period. I have the Bills winning here 24-21, so Bills minus 2.5 and the under of 46.5. I think this has a good chance to be the most watched Monday Night Football game since that Rams-Chief matchup back in 2018 where Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes really just went score for score. But the Jets have been the most talked about team this entire offseason after acquiring Aaron Rodgers. The Bills have ran this division the past few years. On paper, it's going to be a great game and going to hopefully produce a great product for the fans. I'm really excited to just really watch this one kind of unfold. I do think that despite all the offseason hype, though, we should still be in wait-and-see mode with the Jets. It's kind of my analysis with throughout the offseason with the Lions as well, where they are kind of getting anointed, but at the end of the day, they're still the Lions. I need to see them go out there and win the division before I predict them to be a team going on a playoff run. Same thing goes with the Jets. They haven't been to the playoffs, I believe, since 2010. So this is a team hasn't been there before, foreign territory for them. And the Bills, say what you want about them. I've been a noted kind of Bills Josh Allen hater over the past few seasons, but they still find their way into the playoffs and have been winning the division the past few years. So you're not going to just take the crown from the king that easily. A slow start could be in the card for this Jets team with Aaron Rodgers just kind of working in all those new pieces. He's kind of lucky, I think, with their struggles potentially on the offensive line that Von Miller is not back yet. But I do think that the Bills defense, which is one of the top 5 groups in the league, and I think statistically last year they were the top overall defense in the league. I think they're going to take care of the Jets on the road here, and we might start getting some New York headlines that is this the same old Jets. So the pressure's on Aaron Rodgers to get off on the right foot, or he's going to start hearing the noise already after week 1. I'll take the Bills to win, to cover, and the under to hit. All right, now our next segment, we go into the dog of the day, which is an underdog money line play that we like. I'll start it off here. I'm going to go with the Browns. They are a 2.5 point dog, plus 115 on the money line here against the Bengals. So I'm going to be taking the Browns to beat the Bengals this week. The Bengals have sputtered out of the gate under Joe Burrow. 2 years ago, coming off his ACL. Last year, he had an appendix removal during training camp, and now he's had a calf strain that forced him to miss basically all of training camp. So could be rusty, and the Bengals have sputtered out of the gate, like I said, the past couple of years just due to lack of timing and lack of reps in practice with Burrow at full health. during his time in training camp with the Bengals. So Browns, going back to that Giants stat, home divisional dog here. I think they know this year too is kind of playoffs boom or bust for the coaching staff and potential GM as well, because they do have one of the better rosters in the league. They traded all those assets to get Deshaun Watson, gave him the big contract. Now it's kind of time to put up or shut up. He's had his recovery time back from whatever went on with him. I think it's important for them to get out of the gate hot here. So I'm going to take the Browns at home over the Bengals. Good chance to get off on the right foot for them.
So we're seeing the board the same way on this one. I'm taking Browns over the Bengals money line. The Browns have a ton of talent on the roster, and they just need Deshaun to get back to his old stuff. Again, it seems like all his trauma's behind him. He had a full offseason distraction-free, just learning the offense. So I think they're going to come out hot, and the Bengals, like you said, are going to be a little bit sluggish.
All right, and then our last segment of the show, the lock of the week, where we'll be giving our favorite bet that we have of the week. In week 1, I'm going to go with under 44 in the Raiders-Broncos game. I already locked this in. Back to kind of the Jets and the Lions. Wait and see mode with this Broncos team for me as well. Until Russ and the Broncos prove that they can get cooking on offense, I think you have to look at their unders every single week. The Broncos went under the total in 11 of their 17 games last year, and 12 of their 17 games went under 44 points. So it's a trend from last year. I'm going to ride with in week 1 and see if Sean Payton makes a difference with Russell Wilson. But until proven otherwise, I think looking at unders in the Broncos games has to be a thing. And I'm expecting the Raiders not to necessarily sputter out of the gate, but still Jimmy G, a new quarterback, getting used to playing with some new teammates. Josh Jacobs just coming back a couple weeks ago. He might not be exactly in football shape yet. It's going to take some time to adjust there. So I could see this being like a 20-17 type game. So I'll go under 44 in the Raiders-Broncos.
My lock of the week is the Ravens -10 versus the Texans. I think Lamar's in for a big year, and the Ravens defense will be able to make up for a first rough outing for C.J. Stroud. Lamar's going to run and pass for 2 TDs while C.J. throws 2 picks as well.
I like that pick there too. I think that could be kind of the welcome to the NFL moment for Stroud. And the Ravens are my survivor pick, though, this week. And I think I've lost on the first week the past 2 seasons. So hopefully it's a bit of a different story there. Before we head out for week 1, give us your Super Bowl prediction.
Super Bowl prediction, Eagles, Bengals. Eagles over Bengals.
Yeah, all right. I'm the opposite way around. I have the Bengals beating the Eagles as my Super Bowl prediction for this year. But that'll do it for week 1 of the NFL Big 5 games of the week here on the Beef Upfront podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll have you covered all season. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll talk soon.